He might have been running around. Alright guys, we're going to continue on. I got a little bit of noise in the background. I got dogs playing and the wife's on the phone in the other room, but I'm just sitting here waiting. Alright, bag G guys. Looks like we're going to be doing the front and rear arms. Bag G step 1 and bag G step 2. Bag G step 1, we're going to start with that one. We've got our inner hinge pin and blocks. This is our screws and our spacers. We've got our arms here. Put little tiny nuts in there. Ha 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 ha. I'll leave that joke alone. Alright, so in the directions it's showing the arms, blocks, everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with screwing the inserts down. Is that the right size? Yes it is. So these are a 1.5 millimeter. Little short screws to hold the inserts down. And I learned on my 418, don't make these real tight, just kind of snug them down just a little bit. If you tighten them up too much, they will bow. And if you're looking for aerodynamics and all the rigidity that it's supposed to provide, you don't want to have them bowing up. Tighten down, but easy tighten. A little snug. Just where you can feel the tension on them. Decent amount of these screws. And I can write off all my subscriptions to all these different groups that I'm going to do this. Because that's starting to add up. Yes. They add up, but they're adding to my business. All right, young lady.
One of these little screws to go. We'll start putting the blocks and everything together. Alright, so the left and right arms, they even got a stamp on them, L and R, so you know which one you got. So that's your left side, that's your right side. So these little arms here are marked. It's like a 7. That's a 7. That's 3 dots. That's 3 dots. So we'll start with this side closest to the camera so you guys can see it. We've got
one of our long screws. We'll get one spacer. Alright, so screw's gonna go through. It's gonna be angled back just a little bit, so you want to make sure you got it on the right side. And we put one of these spacers on here. And if y'all remember correctly, we put the aluminum block inside here. So this is going to be threaded into the aluminum. So need to make sure that we put just a tad bit of thread locker on there. And get our 2mm here. And this is going to go in that rear hole right behind the cup. And you don't want to tighten these up yet, you just want to get them pretty close. Alright, and the same thing for the 7's going to be kicked up in the front. Like that. Like that. Put a spacer on the back side. A little bit of thread lock on it. And that's going to get put in that front hole. The same thing with the back one. Don't tighten it up yet. Just get it in there. Get it to where it still moves. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Kick up in the back. Screw. Spacer. Thread lock. The rear hole on the side of the bulkhead. And the screw in, but don't tighten it down. And same thing on the other side. 7 block, kick up in the front. Spacer. The thread lock. Put it in the front hole. Run it in. And I'll explain to you guys why you don't tighten these up yet. It'll make sense. Right. Just tight enough to where they won't go in and out, but they can turn around. Alright, so here's why we're going to do something first. Where'd I put it? I thought I brought it in. I had a little can of stuff. There it is. It's in the tool bag. Okay. Alright, so I've got some Racer's Edge anti-wear grease right here. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our hinge pin screw. We'll get just a little dab of this grease. We're just going to put a light coating on here. We're going to massage it in. Like so. You don't want it dabbed, you don't want it gummed up on there. You just want a nice coating on there. So now we're going to put this screw through the front block. We're going to take our arm for the left side. We're going to push it into the hole. And then we're going to find the one in the rear block. That's going to go all the way through. We got a little teeny tiny nut right here. And where my nail nose in? Yes. I'll take our needle nose pliers, and this is a nylock, so you want to make sure the nylon's towards the back. See if that's a 2. We got maybe a 2.5. No, that's a 2. We're going to line our nut up on the back side. We're going to get them started. And run it in. Use my small adjustable wrench. I'm going to tighten it up on that nut on the back. Got an opening wrench that it works too. Alright. Snug that down because it's a nylock, you don't really have to crank it. Alright. Now that you've got that in there, put your fingers together. Don't squeeze, just hold it to the arm. And then you can go in and tighten your blocks up. Like I say, you don't want to push in on it to the arm because then you're going to bind everything up. You want your arm to be floppy, and that grease will help out some too. So it'll lubricate that, keep it smooth for a little bit longer period of time. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Get a little dab of grease, and just barely some on there. Rub that on there. Get it started in the first hole. Into the arm. Once it's through, should poke all the way through to the back side. You see it sticking out right there. And I'm going to take our other little nut. Grab it with the needle nose pliers. Hold it. Do the same thing we did to the other side. We're going to hold it in place till we get it started. I like to hold it until it runs up to the nylock. I'll take our small adjustable. Snug it up. And we're going to do the same thing as we did with the other side. We're just going to hold the blocks in place. Don't crank down on them. Don't snug them too tight. Matter of fact, I can loosen that left side one up just a hair. The right side one's really loose. And I bet it was back when I tightened it up, it probably bound down some. May just be that the arm's gonna be a little tight and it needs to break in some. Yeah, it's not so tight it's gonna be a problem. It's just a little bit snugger on the other side. Alright guys, we're 15 minutes in. We're gonna go ahead and knock out the rear arms while we're at it. Turn it the direction that shows it in the book. All this stuff out the way. I'm gonna go into Bag G2. Bag of screws, our bag of spacers, a whole bunch of spacers in this one. Probably got to add a bunch in for the toe, but that's what all them bad boys are for. That's what it looks like. It looks like there's going to be some at the arms also for our wheelbase adjustments. Alright, so just like on the front, we're going to start with our little tiny screws here. We're going to go ahead and get them put in the arms. So it's going to be the same thing as the front. Do not tighten them way up, just snug. If you tighten them up enough to where it deforms them, they won't provide the stability that you want them to provide. If you have one that's bowing up and then the other one's not on the other arm, then you're going to have one side that's going to be soft and one side that's going to be more rigid. It's going to cause the car to react weird, especially in high bite situations, track where you got a lot of grip. You'll notice the car will act funny going one direction versus the other. And the same thing as the arms on the other side. These are marked with an L and R for left and the right. And it matches with the front. The L and the R is the left side of the car, R is the right side of the car. And that's normally as if you were sitting in it in the driver's seat. Your left and your right. Left being the American driver's side, right being the everywhere else in the world driver's side. I got one more of these. That was boring. Just watch me screw a bunch of little tiny screws in. Alright, just like that. None of the holes are deformed. It's not poking up anywhere. It's nice and flush all the way across. That's how we wanted it. Alright, so we've got our left and we've got our right. Bang, bang, just like that. Now, time to figure our blocks out. We got a 2-block, a 2-block, a 3-dot, and a 3-dot. According to the directions, our 3s are going to go towards the front and the kick up towards the front. So we're going to put a screw. It looks like one spacer on that. A little bit of thread locker on there. And that goes into the front hole. And we didn't put a metal insert in there, so that one may just be in the plastic, but thread locker's not going to hurt anything. Remember that when I started running it in and it was tight. It wasn't loose like it was going in the metal. Run it in to where wiggle around, but it's still holding the block in place. Alright, and it's supposed to be a 2 at the back. Kick up towards the back. Kick up towards the back. And we got 2 washers, 2 spacers on there. Thread lock. And that will go in there. In fact, I'm going to use the drill, and I think I put the 3-hole one in the front one too. I need to take that back out and put the 2 on it. There we go. Take that back out. Put the 3 on there. Alright. Nice and loose. Alright, same thing on the other side. The 3 goes towards the front. Kick up towards the front. Put a screw in it. 1 spacer. So I put Loctite on one side, put Loctite on the other. This just swivels around without any trouble. Alright, then the last one, we got our kick up towards the back. 1, 2 spacers. Loctite.
Angel. Yeah.
Just like so. And then we got our hinge pin. Same thing as the front ones, put a little bit of grease on there. Just a little light dab will do you, a little bit of coating. So this is looking like they're wanting a spacer in front and a spacer in back of the arm. So we're gonna push through the rear block. We're gonna put a spacer on, like so. We're gonna start it through the arm. And this is the nice thing about leaving these blocks loose too, because you can turn the arm up some. You can get turn it down, not up, silly head. Put the washer, my fingers will work. Put the washer on the other side. And then rotate this other block down. Find the hole. Push it through. Push it through. There it goes. Alright, then we're going to take our needle nose. Take our small little nut here. And our 2mm. We'll run it until the nylock catches it. Right there. Take our little wrench. Tighten that up. Take our nut driver. Finger on the blocks. Keep it from, don't tighten it up too much. And then, alright, then we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Little dab, little coating. Stick it to the rear. Spacer. Arm. Get it poking just through the arm. Get your other spacer out. Tilt the arm down. Get the spacer right at the end of the hinge pin. Work it up into place. Find the hole in the block. The spacer didn't want to go over the threaded area in the beginning. Push it too far through, back it up a little bit. Find the hole in the block. Spacer found the end of those threads again. Answering calls as they come in. Come on, buddy, go through there. Well, I'm hoping to call you one day and say, all right. Little baby nut. Oh. Well, get it I'm glad to hear that. Started. I'm glad to hear that. Little wrench. Hold it in place. Tighten her up. We'll put that in there. And we'll tighten these up. Alright. Nice and floppy. Alright, guys, so here we go. We're getting somewhere. It's going to start coming together now. It's going to start looking like a car. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to upload this one. And then the next bag we're going to go to is H. And it looks like we're going to be doing the bell crank. And then we'll see where we go on to from there. Alright, guys. Check you on the next one.